Hi, I'm Pattu from freefincal. Today let's talk about an interesting question asked by a reader. She says, my child is going to enter college in 6 years. How should I invest for this? So we're going to assume that the person has not saved up anything for the child's education so far and has not got much of experience investing in the capital markets in terms of mutual funds or direct equity, whatever. So the first thing I would do is to ask around parents, and this is something that we have already started doing for our son, although he's only about 11ish or so. From parents, every year there'll be parents who are going to be paying the first year college fees. So it's important to ask where they are enrolling their kids in, what is the fees. So just have a notebook or something where you can keep tabs of this, and you can actually keep track of how much the rates increase over time and so on. It'll actually be very useful. It'll give you a nice perspective of what you're actually in for at the time of admission. So when we have more than 10 years for college education as a goal, we usually think of it as a single goal. And see, this is something that happens again and again. I'm not able to figure this out. It never happened in my old Mac, but it keeps happening in the new one. It just keeps freezing. I hate that. That's one of the reasons why I don't bring this up. So when it's a single goal, we treat it as a single goal when the duration is more than 10 years away. But here, let's split it up into two goals. So we'll assume that the first 2 years of college as a 6-year goal, the fees for the first 2 years of college as a 6-year goal, and the fees for the last 2 years of college is an 8-year goal. And you will separate them out, and that'll give us some kind of something to work with, a little bit better than a single goal. So we will assume that it's a 4-year UG degree, and the semester fees is 1 lakh. So you need 2 lakhs a year, and the initial admission fee, whatever fee they have, etc., is about 4 lakhs or so. Of course, you have to redo the calculation with your own numbers. We will assume that the inflation is 12%. That is actually a little bit on the lower side, but considering the way things are going, but we'll have to look at it. So 6 years from now, so today we will need about 6 lakhs for the first year. That is 2 lakhs for the semester fees and 4 lakhs for the joining fee, 6 lakhs for the first year. So if you add an inflation of 12% every year, that 6 lakhs will translate to about 12 lakhs. So it will become double after 6 years. And after 7 years, for the second year fees, 2 lakhs will become about 4.4 lakhs. After 8 years for the third year fee, the 2 lakhs today will become about 5 lakhs. And for after 9 years, the 2 lakhs today will become about 5.5 lakhs. So if you add them all together, you get about 26 to 27 lakhs that's required for the child to enter college. So we'll divide this into two goals. So we'll assume that we will need 15 lakhs or so needed for the first 2 years. That is 6 years time for that. And then the remaining 11 to 12 lakhs we will assume is the target corpus needed after 8 years for the last 2 years. So if you do that for the first 2 years, I would say, because the person does not have much of an experience, I would say invest most of it in a combination of basically bank FDs, recurring deposits, then money market mutual funds. I recommend money market mutual funds specifically because in this category, the interest rate risk or the duration risk is particularly low, and also practically almost all the funds have got good credit quality. They invest in short-term, good credit quality bonds. Of course, so far things can change, but so in that sense, it's easier for you to pick mutual funds. And in any case, you can use my plumb line for recommendations. If you want to take on a little bit more risk, but not too much risk like direct equity, then equity mutual funds or direct equity, then you can include about 20% of Parak Parik Conservative Hybrid Fund. I am recommending this fund because one thing is that the AMC is more or less clear that they will be only taking on high credit quality bonds, either corporate bonds or government bonds or state development loans and so on. The other is that they will have a little bit of equity, about 10% maximum, not more than that. But that should not make a big difference to the volatility. The state government bonds themselves will be volatile. It will be volatile, but If you want to take on a little bit risk, of course you have to take a chance sometimes in life, then this can be a good fund for you. If you want to be a little more adventurous than this, then you can have 20% of a Nifty 50 index fund itself. Then that's not a bad idea. I thought long and hard about adding other kind of funds like aggressive hybrid fund, balance advantage fund, and so on. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Might as well just simply buy a Nifty 50 index fund. 20% is what I'm recommending to a newbie. If you are more experienced, you can have a little bit more asset allocation and plan and play with it. If you get a good return in 1 year, you have to book some profit with it and so on. And after about 5 years, towards the middle of the 5th year, you can immediately reduce that 20% to zero. And so that any final last few months, if there's any big falls, you won't be affected too much by it. Now, we are only going to assume a return overall portfolio return of 5% post-tax here. And the investment required will be about 14,000 to 15,000 a month, increasing at the rate of 10% a year. So 15,000 today, next year 15,000 a month this year, next year it will be 10% more, and next year 10% more, and so on for 6 years. Then you should be able to get that 15 lakhs corpus. For the second goal, that's 8 years away, I would recommend taking on a little bit more risk. So you can have about 40% of Parak Pari conservative hybrid fund and the rest in FDs, RDs and money market funds. Other people can play along with this, or if you want, you can just have 40% of a Nifty 50 fund itself. That's also fine. But overall return, I will assume portfolio return after tax about 6% is what I would assume. And for getting 11 lakhs after 8 years, you have to invest about 6,000 to 7,000 per month, increasing again at the rate of 10%. Remember, this investment of 6,000 to 7,000 has to be continued even after the girl joins college. Until she enters the 3rd year, this investment has to be continued. So the total investment to made is about, if you add them together, is about 20 to 22,000 roughly, increasing totally at the rate of 10%. If this amount you can spare, then you should be able to reasonably manage. It looks a little bit acceptable because the inflation doesn't play such a big role, because there are only 6 years available. Even at 6 years, it has become double, but there are only 6 years. If this is 12 years and 12% inflation or 14% inflation, it will be much more dramatically different and so on. But at least you have that much more time to take on some risk and combat it and so on. So please keep an eye on the fees. Always be talking to parents and find out, have a book, have a notebook, and okay, this parent has joined, has enrolled their child in this degree in this place for this much amount and so on. Have that the year and so on. Okay, have that log. It will make a big difference to you when your own child enters college. Even if it doesn't help you financially, at least you will get a knowledge of so many degrees. When I started doing this, I did not know so many degrees. There's a degree on design and so on. I never knew such degrees existed. So at least it will teach us a thing or two about what's available out there in the education market. So that's about it. If you have any questions, please post them below.